Hi, I'm Danny Johnson. I've got my spiritual beauty daughter right here. Get over here.
I'm like, I want to get away from the frame.
Yes. Isa Agape Couvertier. Have fun spelling that.
Yeah. I mean, the first name is really Ismanelli.
Isa Minnelli. Such a beautiful name. Such a beautiful name, which I only say when she's in trouble.
Yeah, it's kind of...
Isa Minnelli.
It's not good when I hear that.
Anyway, if you've been a part of the community for any length of time, you may have been one of those that asked the question like, wait, how is Isa your daughter? I think we've had thousands of people ask that question. Seriously.
Well, guess what? We're going to answer
We're going to answer that question finally on a road trip. This is actually Isa's birthday trip. She's got a big birthday, and when I was asking her what she wanted to do for her birthday, she's like, I don't want to party. I don't know. And then it just hit my spirit. I knew exactly how to bless my girl here. I knew exactly what to do. She loves the great outdoors. She has a business called Dirt Princess Life. Yeah, you heard it. Dirt Princess Life. Which I love. It is like such contrast for this Philly city girl.
Hans actually helped me come up with the
Yeah,
name.
he did. I remember you guys brainstorming.
Oh my goch, for months.
But seriously. What was the first name he came up with?
Earth?
No.
No.
Doobie?
Wait, was it Nature Stars? Wait. Yeah, Nature Stars and DoobieRoadTrips.com. Yeah. Mom was like, no, we're not doing that.
I just don't think that's a good idea.
Not a good name.
I think that's not a good name.
Doobie Road Trips.
Doobie Road Trips is probably, she doesn't smoke weed, first of all.
Yeah.
And that could definitely like paint a picture that would not be good. But
yeah, no.
anyway, so yeah, how we met. So we're on a road trip right now, and Mom is not a big road tripper. In fact, the last road trip I had was with you, and it was her and all of our kids, actually 4 of our 5 kids.
That was awesome.
That was a totally spontaneous trip. We had gone to Colorado to check out the area to possibly move our whole company and our family there. And we arrived in Denver at night. We get up the next morning, open up the windows, and go, oh, hell no.
That is exactly what happened. We were like,
and we had like 4 days scheduled to be there to check out the area to move there. And literally, like, you were right there.
Yeah.
I opened the window, I'm like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
We are not moving here. It was like, it was like unanimous. All of us at the same time, like, no, not happening.
Yep.
So it was like, well, now what are we going to do?
So I was like, free trip!
Well, and we checked the flights to see how much it was going to cost to get all of our flights changed, and there were 7 of us, and we're like, gosh, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, it was going to be.
We rented a Suburban.
Yeah.
And crossed 4 states. I think it was 4 days. Was it 4 days or was it 5 days?
It was crazy.
It was awesome.
It was an insane amount of time.
And she's the one that suggested road trip, and then the kids started screaming, yeah, road trip, and Mom is just like, I know.
She was like,
road trip with all these kids, oh my gosh. But it turned out to be 4 to 6 hours every day.
Yeah.
Mostly 4 hours. We went from Denver down to Santa Fe, New Mexico, which was stunning.
That was
stunning. And then over to Moab, Utah. Stunning. So stunning. Then up to Flagstaff, Arizona, and the Grand Canyon.
That was awesome.
That was stunning. And then back up to Denver to fly home. And in fact, this was done 2 or 3 weeks before Grooming the Next Generation for Success was being filmed in Chicago, Illinois.
Yep.
And so it was perfect. It gave me a ton of fresh content.
A lot.
Yeah, because we had...
She's forever grateful for me to suggest that, thank God, because I would never...
I had to put into practice the techniques of Grooming the Next Generation for Success, and so I had just tons of fresh content.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing trip. It's forever in the list of the favorite family trips for sure.
Yeah.
That we had, and so we got to do this again. And so anyway, for her birthday, I decided to surprise her with a trip to go see Big Bend. She'd been talking to me about Big Bend. It's a national park here in the hill country of Texas. It's actually not in the hill country anymore by the time we get there. This is gorgeous. I wish you could see this. Man, this is the furthest I've ever been into Texas. We've lived here for 10 years.
Oh man.
I don't road trip. I fly. I fly all over the world.
She flies.
I do, but
I road trip.
she road trips, and you fly too.
I fly
you fly
too.
all over the world too. But anyway, but she likes to see national parks, and so I surprised her with this trip to Big Bend, and I'm really excited about the trip. But anyway, why are we here? We're going to talk about how we met,
Yeah.
and how God knitted us together. It's going to be a little bit of a wild story. It's probably going to mess with some of your theology. It messes with mine. It does. It totally messes with mine. It really does. It really messes with mine, and it is what it is. But I can't deny what happened, and so and or how it happened. And so Isa is a phenomenal professional musician. She has 8 albums. Her music is unbelievable. Oh my gosh. And if you're familiar with the DannyJohnson.com community, that you are familiar with her for, 12 years, 13 years, consistently at every First Step Success and generally at every Creating a Dynasty, which is our 3-day training seminars. She's been on the stage. We have a music set on our first, after the first day of the event, we do a spiritual equipping for you in your personal and professional life, and it usually started with Isa. For 13 years, it started with Isa doing a music set, and just to change up the atmosphere, and boy does it change up the atmosphere. We've had lots of people on that stage, but nobody is like Isa. Absolutely nobody. I've been in festivals, music festivals with Isa. She has sang before 70,000 people, and her first music festival, I had the chance to be at that with her, and it was so exciting. It's just an awesome mother-daughter experience, and her on a gigantic stage with just that big, huge, like how big are those screens? They make the screens.
Jumbotrons.
Yeah, they make the screens at First Steps look like TV screens.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're not. The screens at First Steps are not TV screens, but compared to the Jumbotrons that Isa was on, just such a proud mama moment. And her, but again, it's telling us we have another 500 miles. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's more like 197.
Oh, we've already made some headway. Anyway, no, I'm enjoying this. So enjoying this. Seeing her, like, we were there for days, and when she got on that stage, now it's not just because I'm biased, I promise you. Come on, you can tell the truth. I can be rather...
Bias?
No!
What's the word you're trying to...
I can be rather... shrewd.
Okay.
You know that's true.
Okay.
That girl's too airy. Come on. Like, what is that guy trying to do? Come on, you know. This is sad.
Yeah.
I'm a coach, and so I generally see places that people can be better and improve, and I have yet to see that in Isa's music at all. An unbelievable writer, writes all her own original content, which is her music basically, like, it helped. She's speaking from a place that I think all of our souls want to speak from, but she articulates the words that are happening inside of us, is really what it is. That's how powerful her music is, and her voice is so powerful. So as soon as she opens her voice, it's like everybody else that was singing before is like, oh, I shock, because they do compare to her. Sorry, that's kind of a biased statement. I'm not saying everybody sucks, but I'm just saying that she's at a level that is...
I'm okay.
She's not okay. She's at a level that is, just puts the rest of wannabe professionals that have albums that are on the radio that shouldn't be really far down. Because hers is so high. It's true. And if Isa wanted to be on the radio, she would be. And if she wanted to be doing concerts, she would be. She doesn't want to be. So she's just one of those hidden gems of powerful music and powerful lyrics, as well as a photographer and the Dirt Princess life. So 9 minutes in, how did we meet?
Nice. Nicely done.
I'll start on my side because I heard about you, I think, before you heard about me. I don't know. We'll find that out right now.
Yeah.
I think you might have heard about me before, too. Our daughter, Erica, and my other spiritual daughter, Laura Lee, came home from a kind of a youth event. And this youth event was, there we go. I want to be looking up my nose. This youth event was a huge concert, and Erica came home and Laura Lee came home. Laura Lee was living with us at the time, with an EP. And an EP basically is a demo of someoe's music. So they had three songs on it.
3 songs.
Yeah, it had 3 songs on it. I'm trying to get her in that frame so that it's not just there. She's beautiful. Gosh, look at this. It's so pretty.
Yeah.
Wish you could see it. You should be on the Dirt Princess Life with us.
Yes.
Okay, so she came home. Erica and Laura Lee came home talking about. Now, mind you, there were several bands, right?
Yeah.
At this conference.
Yeah.
Like several bands, and it was for a couple of days. But the one album they bought was Issa. That was the one album they bought, and came home just going off on this Issa girl.
Really?
Yes. Yes. And so anyway, they put the music in, and they're kind of blaring it through the house, and it was so good. Like, it was so powerful, and it was so gifted, so like moving. And to be honest with you, the voice sounded like it was this little, short, blonde, like long-haired blonde with a guitar girl. Like, that's kind of the picture that I had in my head, is this little, short, blonde, white girl for the voice. I don't know why, but I felt like that's kind of the picture that I had. And boy, was I wrong.
So wrong.
I was so wrong, and I didn't say that to anybody. I didn't ask, Erica or Laura Lee, like, well, who is this? Do you have a picture of her? It just, whatever. That's just kind of the impression, because the voice was just so, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but that's kind of the picture I had in my head. And then months later, my girlfriend Mona gives me a call. And she says, hey, listen, I've got a few musicians in town, and I'm wondering if I could stop by. I want to introduce you to them. They're actually going to be doing music at the kids' youth group tonight. And I'm like, okay, fine, sure, what time? Mona popped in all the time. My girlfriend Mona, she's one of my best friends. But she, she had a potato meter. Look at that river, how beautiful. She had a potato meter, a mashed potato meter to be exact. And that she just kind of always know. I mean, she will say that the Spirit of the living, the Holy Spirit, let her know when I was making mashed potatoes and gravy. She just would always show up at dinner time, I'll just say that. Because she knew. I mean, her friend that's like super organized and very scheduled, I had dinner the same time every single night. So she would always just like popped in. Mind you, she's a mother of 3 herself and has a husband and need to cook dinner herself. But anyway, she had a mashed potato meter. Anyway, so this time she called. Which was unusual. She used to just show up. Look at how stunning this is.
Yeah.
Gosh, Texas is gorgeous. At least this part of Texas is gorgeous. Well, we're climbing.
Yep,
We're like climbing straight up right now.
We are.
Like straight up.
You guys can sort of see the canyon.
Yeah, oh, that's
cut
right,
off.
in the rear view.
Yeah.
It's so pretty. Really, really pretty.
If I stay out of the frame.
Get your butt in the frame. Anyway, so what was I saying? Mona. So she called this time and said, hey, I've got these 3 young ones. I'm wondering if maybe you could pray for them. I'm like, yeah, sure. So Mona shows up with these 3 people. One looks like a hoodlum.
That would be me.
And she's very dark. I'm not talking about her skin. I'm talking dark. And she's got, a hat on. She's got, a hoodie, sweatshirt with, in addition to the hoodie, she's got a big, huge down vest, like a big old Gap vest that's like 4 sizes too big for her. She's wearing jeans that are 6 sizes too big for her and Uggs. And she's just dark. Like she's just very recluse, very like I don't know how to explain it, but
Depressed?
no, depressed is not the word for it. It is depressed times 10. Just the way she's carrying herself is just, she's in a cave and she's hiding, and she's just, her body language is, you know, her shoulders are shrugged forward. She's trying to, you know, her head is kind of sunk down. Just her whole body is just trying to, like, hide is not even the word. And the other two was a couple, and the wife was very cheery and very out, you know, just total opposite of Issa. I'll just say that, just complete opposite. And our son Cabe and I are making enchiladas, and so we are just deep in enchilada sauce and cheese and chicken, and we're just making these, you know, huge amount of pans of enchilada, and they walk in, and I don't realize that this is the girl that of the music that I had been listening to, that Laura Lee and Erica were just going off on and bragging about. And so anyway, that's the first time we met. When did you first hear about me? We're gonna get deeper into the story. I'm just talking about that's the meeting point. And this is November 5th, 2005. Yeah, that was November 5th, 2005 is
Yes.
the very first time that we met.
So almost a year later from when they went to the conference.
Wow.
Almost a year.
Wow. So that was, wow. So we're still in 2005 and you had just launched your...
I just launched I just finished recording.
Yeah. In the waiting.
My full record, yeah.
Yeah.
Full record.
Yeah.
I heard about you through Mona. Mona would come out to Kansas City often, and
that's where you were living?
Yeah, that's where I was living at the time, and she stayed at the house that the lady that she
Rebecca Higgins, who I've known for years also.
Yeah.
Meaning before Rebecca moved to Kansas City, I knew her. I knew her whole family.
Yeah, so Mona used to babysit Rebecca Higgins.
Yeah.
So that's how.
Yeah.
So I knew of you through Rebecca and Mona because they were intercessors for DJC or something like that.
Yeah, and DannyJohnson.com got started August of 2003.
Yeah.
Okay, and they were. So they were praying for us.
And she was just, Rebecca was just at a conference, I believe.
Actually, you're right. She was in St. Louis. That's when we had reached 500 for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years in.
Yeah.
Yep. That's right, she was. And this was the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Trippy.
Yep. So I kind of had a...
What did you hear?
Just that you're a business speaker and help people, with their business and finances.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I heard. And you're a believer and you love Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you were doing that in the business world. So I thought that was cool.
Cool. All right, so did you know you were coming to my house that day? Did you connect that dot?
I did connect the dot. I was like, oh, this is the chick that, that's what I said. I was like, well, we're going to go see your peeps. I would tell Mona, okay, so we're going to go see your peeps. I said something else, but I'm just going to leave it there. But yeah. Yeah, so we went to see you.
What do you mean? What else did you say?
I said, we're going to go see your peeps. And she was like, what? Every time we would get together, we would, I was like, do you remember that time? Yep, I said that. Yep.
Little did we know, man.
So I had that in the back of my head. I just finished a conference, and there was I was in the middle of a transition, and it was not good, and I just, I was not in a good spot. So apparently not in a really great spot.
No.
Yeah.
No. She looked like she was dying. Not wanted to die, but dying.
Yeah.
Like there was such a darkness over you. Not a darkness as in evil, but just a darkness of death.
Yeah.
That was over you.
Yeah.
This is where the story starts to get really wild.
Yeah.
So, she comes over and I'm in the middle of enchiladas, so I'm covered, and so then Mona says, okay, well, maybe why don't you come to the youth group before it all starts, and maybe you can pray for the men. I'm like, okay, that's better. So Gabe and I finish, doing the enchiladas, and I wash my hands and I head over to the youth group where they're kind of getting themselves set up, and I go to pray over them. You remember that?
Meanwhile, I was so over a lot of things. Go
ahead.
I was so over just...
Go ahead. Just be honest.
The prophetic people and just... I have a word for the Lord for you. I was like, yeah, you could just share it with yourself.
You can shove it.
Just like, I was so done, and I had just received a prophetic word 5 times, was emphasized 5 times in the middle of a conference. And it was one of those that was like, what? And basically it was like, your season is coming quickly to a close, was the prophetic word. And the guy told me 5 times. 5 times. And I was just like, in front of the entire conference. So
how many people were in the conference?
Probably like 1,000. I don't know. It was pretty big. It was weird. It was weird for me because I just wanted to move on. I just didn't feel released to move on. Like, I just needed to get out from where I was at because I felt like I was dying, basically.
Yeah.
And so,
you were. It was all over you, man.
And I just was like, okay, I'm done. I think I'm done.
And you were a worship leader.
Yeah.
This is a worship leader
so
who is hating the prophetic.
Yeah, I was totally.
And why? Tell us why.
I just felt like there was just a lot of, like, for me, like, just abuse on that front, like, just like, okay.
Yeah.
Some people just didn't know how to, I don't know. I was just over it. I was just like, I don't know. I was just really over it. So.
What were you over, Issa?
I was over people saying that they had a word for me or a prophetic, direction or whatever. I was just over that. I was over that whole movement, honestly.
The movement, meaning the culture of the prophetic movement.
I was done. I was done. I was a part of it, and I was done. I was so done. So
why? What did it feel like to you? What did it seem like to you?
Now, this doesn't mean that it was, but it seemed fake to me.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like people had all this thing to offer for God, but on the flip side, like, relationship wasn't wasn't there, I guess. It was lacking. It was like, I don't know. There was more emphasis on doing what we can do for God instead of what can we do for each other.
Meaning just relationship, just like emotional connection.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, like
so
being involved in people's lives or knowing what's going on inside of people. So it's like no friendship, but it was all like.
So it felt for me. It felt like I was being used for my gifting, and I think I was done being the merchandise.
That's exactly what it was.
So, and I had received several, and this is, I have several prophetic words throughout my life about the warning of that, like that there would be people that would come and try and merchandise my gifting, and that I needed to be careful for that. And so I think it just kind of manifested, and I just realized, wow, this is what this is, and I just had a bad taste in my mouth. I'm good now, but at the time I was not good, and I was over it, and I was like, they might, profess, all this stuff about God and love and blah blah blah, but in all reality, there wasn't that. mean that that's what was really going on. I'm just saying that's what I felt.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So I show up to pray for the three of them, and I felt just something really strong with Isa. And I can't necessarily remember what I prayed over her, but I do remember seeing, and I do remember saying that I saw this vat, right? This just huge vat and container. And again, I still don't know this is Isa that I'm listening, the music that I was listening to.
Really?
No, I still didn't figure it out.
Oh my gosh.
I still didn't, because I didn't pay attention to the name, that was on the album. You know what I mean? So I still am, kind of in the dark as to who is here before me. To me, it's just, some random kid who's going to be singing at Erica's youth group. Like, the three of them, but it's just some random kid. And then at one point I thought, oh, Isa must be the other girl.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I thought that Isa was the other young lady that was there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. So anyway, I just saw this huge vat of talent and expression, and that God, it was huge, like this huge amount of talent, and God just pouring in to this huge vat, and it just being kind of like a never-ending source of talent and gifting, and that He would even be widening and enlarging the capacity of that vat. That's what I remember. It's crazy. This is forever ago. This is 14 years ago. So, anyway, I know, isn't that crazy? So, long and the short of it, that night comes, it goes, whatever. And then the next day, the weirdest thing, I worked my schedule where I worked kind of every other day. I worked 3 days a week. And so just so happens I was off the next day, because I only worked part-time with our company. That's all I've done since 1996, actually, on purpose, by design, because I refuse to be owned by a business or anything for that matter. So anyway, the next morning I wake up and I have this impression on my spirit to take Isa to lunch, and which was wild to me. Like, why Isa? Right? Why not the other couple? Like, why the girl who's like so heavy and so miserable, looks like she's dying, and like, why? So anyway, so I call Mona and I just say, I kind of feel this nudge in my spirit to take Isa to lunch. Will you ask her if she's free? And she's like, yeah, she's right here. And so anyway, I go and I pick her up, and we're in our Suburban, and we went to the best Mexican place. Oh my gosh, the best food. I miss that place so much. I do too. Oh, it's so good. Oh gosh. The best tacos ever. And the rice and beans. Anyway, sorry, come back. So I pick her up, and I take her to lunch, and we start talking, and I just get this impression again for her, and I just begin to speak into her soul, and she pushes her food. I'm not eating this. I'm not eating this. I can't eat this right now. And I just keep driving this word, if you will, that was brewing inside of my soul, and I basically was reading her like a book and didn't know that I was reading her like a book. And her eyes swell up with tears, but she's holding it all back, and she's angry. She's just angry. So we basically, get her food all boxed up. She didn't eat. I ate everything that was in front of me, including like 3 bowls of chips. We get into the truck, and I take her up to this property that we owned, and just kept going, and she looks at me. You remember what you said?
No.
Who are you?
Oh, yeah.
Who are you anyway? And I just said, I don't know about that, but what I do know is, and just kept, I was like, who are you? When are you going to stop? take her back to Mona's, and the next day, I wake up with this crazy impression. First of all, why don't you talk about what you were thinking and feeling at the lunch? And
I was just sick to my stomach. I couldn't eat. I was like, I need to get out of here. And we didn't go. I mean, we left, but I was still with her. And I was done being with her.
Who's this crazy white woman?
Yeah, I was just like, okay, can we go back to Mona's? We're going to go to this. I want to show you this property. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I was just done. I just couldn't eat. I was sick. I just felt sick to my stomach. I lost all my appetite. And yeah, she was pretty much reading my mail. Again, I was over the prophetic people, and I kind of put her in that box. And
I definitely was not in that box with them people either.
With them people.
Because I felt the same way about them people.
So I was kind of over it. And
Yeah.
but I was trying to be respectful, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I was feeling.
Take me back, please.
Yeah.
So anyway, my heart just really connected with her, like really strong. And the next morning I wake up and I'm praying like I do every morning. I'm praying, and then I have this impression, and I saw the three of them renting a house that Hans and I were trying to sell. And we had 3 positions open in our client services department. We were starting client service department. We couldn't keep up with the growth that we were having. All of us, again, we had just had...
Me in client services. Can
Yeah,
you just
right?
Picture that right now.
Yeah, right. So anyway, we had 3 openings available in our client services department, meaning we wanted to expand, and we had 1 in that department at the time, and we couldn't keep up with the growth. Just all of a sudden, we went through exponential growth, and we grew like 300% in that year, and so I had this impression. The 3 of them, here's what happened. The 3 of them were leaving Kansas City, but none of them knew where they were going. None of them. Yeah. And so, like, certainly they weren't, 3 musicians are not looking for a customer service job. Give me a break.
No.
And Issa was very unclear. All 3 of them were very unclear about where they were going. They just knew they were supposed to leave Kansas City and leave the ministry that they were a part of. That they knew, but didn't know where they were supposed to go. So I wake up the next morning after this lunch experience with her, and my day started around noon, meaning my work day started around noon, and it's early in the morning, and I'm praying, and I get this impression that 3 of them lived in our house, and then I saw that we had 3 positions available, and none of them knew where they wanted to go or what they wanted to do. And I thought, well, maybe, they could do music at First Steps. Maybe we could do that. And they could be full-time in the company. And so anyway, I get hit with this in my spirit, like so strong I feel like I'm going to throw up. And I call Mona right away. And I said, hey, what kind of internet skills do they have to do? They live their life on their computers. And so they have computer skills. Yeah. They're pretty fast, with doing it. So she's just telling me about, their skill sets. And she goes, what are you thinking? Because she knew we wanted to expand. I'm like, I don't know. I just woke up with this picture. I don't know if it's God or not. I don't, it could have been, indigestion. I have no idea. But I just think it's odd. These 3 are here. We have these 3 openings. They don't know what their next step is. They just know they're supposed to leave what they're doing now. Why not give these musicians an opportunity to perform at First Steps, and spread their music, and have a full-time job. I don't know if what we have is what they'd want to do, and I certainly don't know if they have the skill sets of what we need, but, let's maybe explore it. And I said, is Issa still there? And she says, yeah. What about the other 2? Yeah. The other 2 had gone.
left.
The other 2 had gone. And so she gave me their phone number. So I called them and I said, hey, and I just I don't know if this is from God or not. It probably isn't, but, and I kind of explained, and they said, wow, okay, we'll pray about that. And then Issa was still there, and you weren't supposed to still be there.
Yeah, I was supposed to leave super early in the morning. Instead, I woke up. I couldn't get out of the bed that I was
You were
sleeping in.
glued to the bed.
I was pretty much, this was one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had. I was pretty much glued to the bed, and the Lord starts speaking to me about, this is the morning up, right? She wakes up, she gets this impression. I get up super early. I'm supposed to be on the road back to Chico, where my mentor was at, because I had a flight like 2 days later or whatever, and I couldn't move, and I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. So I was like, Lord, is this you? And you start asking, and he started speaking to me about this entrepreneur spirit thing that she had.
I had spoken that she had.
That I had, and I was just like, what is this? That it's kingly and priestly, and he starts speaking to me about that, and so in my mind I'm thinking, okay, well then if you want me to develop my
Entrepreneurial
business side, kingly side, whatever that is, I don't know. Then I'll commit. So I'm laying in bed, and I'm making a commitment to the Lord that I would go to every event for the next year. This is what happens to me that morning, and then I get out of bed finally, and Mona's not there, and so I'm like, okay, I'll just wait until she gets back, because I don't want to leave without saying goodbye. And so she gets back, and she tells me, oh, Danny wants to talk to you or whatever. And I was just like, okay, do you know what about? And because at that point I didn't want to
I don't want to encounter this woman again.
I just made a commitment to the Lord that I would go to every event. Is that enough? In my mind, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, awesome. So I go to her house.
You poor thing.
Yeah, poor me.
Strange woman.
So I go to her house, and she drops this bomb on me, and then leaves. Just like that.
Who, Mona?
You!
Oh, yeah. So she comes to the house. I'm actually still in my bedroom.
I remember Erica was there.
Yeah, I'm still. Erica's like, gosh, young.
I think you were taking her to the dentist or something. I don't know.
We were homeschooling. Yeah, we were homeschooling at the time. So anyway, Issa gets there, and I just say, hey, listen. And mind you, I don't know the pain that she's gone through. I just know she's been through something. But I don't know the pain that she's gone through with ministry-type people and this whole merchandising thing and feeling like she's been used and abused and kind of the environment. I don't know anything about any of it. I also didn't know that her mother died 3 years before, 2002, right? Yeah, so 3 years before her mother dies. I don't know that her mother died. I don't know anything about. I don't know enough. Let's just say that. I just know she's a musician, whatever. So anyway, so then I start saying, hey, listen, I just woke up this morning, and I just kind of, you don't know where you're going. How weird, Sonora, 2 exits.
Oh, weird.
Oh my. Because this happened in Sonora, California, but we're in Sonora, Texas right now.
Weird.
Wow, talking about this. This happened in Sonora, California, and we're passing Sonora, Texas. That's
just
weird.
Cray. Go ahead.
Gosh, hold on. This nice little motorhome decides to just jump out in front of us.
Hey, bro.
Hey, bro is right.
Oh, I gotta take a photo. I gotta take a video photo of this.
Freedom Elites. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to.
So trippy. Sorry.
I like how I can't see that very well.
See what? What can't you see? You want me to drive?
No, I can't see my. There we go. I know. What a trip. How fun. Okay, so what happened? What happened was I don't tell her it's God. I just say, you don't know where you want to go. You don't know what your next step is. You have an entrepreneurial spirit. I've been an entrepreneur for, at that point, I don't know, whatever, 2005, whatever, more than a, decade and a half at that point. Yeah, about 15 years or so. We happen to have 3 positions available. It's probably nothing you would want to do. I don't even know if you have the skill sets to do it, but we're willing to train. And maybe you could be at our events and you could do your music at the events and you can sell your CDs at the events. I don't want anything from it at all. Whatever you sell is yours. Typically when you step on somebody else's stage, they get a cut of it. I don't want a cut of it. But, you know, just pray about it. I don't know. And we have a house that's been on the market for a little while, and I'll talk to my husband. We'll see if, you know, I just think it's weird that we have this house. We have these 3 openings. You're wanting to learn, you know, how to be an entrepreneur. That's what we teach. Be willing to teach you how. And if you're working with a company, obviously you're getting that kind of training for free. So you're kind of doing an internship kind of sort of thing, you know, whatever. So just go pray about it. I just make real light of it. I don't say, thus saith the Lord.
Thank God.
I didn't say, oh, I had this impression this morning on my spirit when I was praying for you. I didn't say any of that. I just simply said, yeah, it's kind of odd, you know, we're looking for 3. You 3 are here. You 3 are leaving Kansas City. You don't know where you want to go. You know, we don't really have a place for musicians, but we're willing to take the risk. And we've got these 3 openings. And that's pretty much how that went. And she's like, you know, she's got her hands in her big Gap down jacket. She's got her hoodie. Little short dreads, by the way. Her hair was like super short with blonde tips. Yeah, she just...
I was like, what?
Yeah, like you couldn't read her. Her face was like, you're talking to me about this right now?
And then you're gonna leave. Oh, she drops this whole thing, and then she says, "Okay, I gotta go. You know, you can connect with Mona with your answer or whatever." And I was just like, "Okay." So I would go to Chico and fly back to, I don't know, I think it was New York.
Yeah, you had a gig.
I had a gig.
Yeah,
So I did that gig.
Get in the frame.
I had a gig, and I did that gig. I was staying with a friend. Went to Boston.
Yep. Actually, the 3 of you went to Boston, didn't you?
No, it was just me.
It was just you. I thought the 3 of you went.
Yeah, it was just me.
Okay.
And
we did an event in Boston shortly after that, actually.
Yeah. And I hope there's another gas station up ahead.
You have to pee?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Meaning we just passed them all.
I was like, do I say it?
Yeah, you should have said it. This is Caverns of Sonora.
Yeah.
Should we go see them?
We can.
You don't look too excited about that. Anyway, keep going. She got to pee.
So awkward. Anyways, so I tell my friend about it, and, you know, just to see what she says.
Kathy.
Kathy. And, it was funny, is like I was over prophetic people, and this chick is the most prophetic person I know.
Yeah.
But she's pretty
Real.
dead on, you know, like, and I trust her, and I have a relationship with her.
Yeah.
So, anyways, and so she doesn't say anything. She's like, "Hey, I think the Lord has something for you at this church. I want to take you to." And it's the John Paul Jackson Church, and it was in Boston, and I went, and I walked in, and there were several people that were like, that recognized me from certain conferences, so that was kind of weird. And I was just like, okay.
That's so embarrassing when that happens.
And so, long service. It was pretty long. We didn't actually get out of there until after midnight. And I in the beginning of the week, I put out a fleece for the Lord. Like I said, if I'm supposed to do this thing with this chick, then you're going to have to confirm it through people that don't know me by Sunday midnight. And that's what I said, by Sunday midnight. Like, it cannot be after midnight. It has to be by Sunday midnight. And he totally did. And so through the service, it ended, and she was praying for people. She loves to do that. She loves to minister to people. So I stayed in the back, and she waves me over. She's like, "Come over here," and I'm like, "Oh gosh, what is she doing?" And she's like, "Hey, I don't go." And then she finally just comes over to me, and because I'm like, "No, I'm good." She comes over to me and she says, "Hey, there's this couple. I don't know who they are. They don't know who you are, but they want to pray for you. They have something for you that they feel like the Lord wants to give to you." So I was like, okay. So I go over, and they start praying, and the guy, he's like, "I've never prayed this over anyone or said this over anyone. I don't even know what this all means, to be real honest. But there's an opportunity in front of you, and it has to do with your kingly anointing, and you spend this season, developing your priestly, and very much similar to what the Lord was talking to me about when I was like frozen in time in bed, like I couldn't move. It was like time froze, and I couldn't move, and He was speaking to me about this very thing, and I just knew. I was just like, and I freaked out because I looked at my clock, and it was 11:45 or something like that, 11:55. So it was right before midnight when it happened. So I knew I needed to go, and so yeah, and I went out, moved out, left KC.
Like, you jumped right on it.
Yeah, well, the prophetic word before all of this, before I met you, was that my season was coming quickly to a close.
Yeah.
Like, and it definitely did. Like, and He said it 5 times. And he said, the Lord told me to tell you 5 times to know that His grace will be on you to transition out.
Yeah.
So, and that's what happened. And that totally is what happened. And it was the easiest, hardest transition. Obviously, it's hard when you transition from one place to another. But it was the easiest too at the same time, because everything just fell into place. The house, the moving truck, like everything just everything was. So yeah.
And while they were on their way to, all 3 of them accepted the position, and
there's a rest area.
Slowing down. This is where this part of the video is going to stop. So the 3 of them accepted the position, and they all moved out together, and they all moved into our house.
145 miles. Continue straight.
And their very first steps to success was January 2006. They moved out December of 2005, and their very first steps, and they performed, the 3 of them, and it was unbelievable. I was a mess. I was an absolute mess when I heard their voice. She's going to go pee. And this is probably a good place to end this part of the video.
Yeah. Do you need to go pee? You probably should.
Listen, the daughter's telling me I need to go
Probably
pee.
should.
Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna do part 2 to this, because this is kind of where some other wild stuff began to happen, and some really great healing began to happen in her. And we're going to talk the story about how we met Stephen Baldwin too. So anyway, there's some other great parts of the story, but
Stevie B.
yes, and how she started to launch her career in the marketplace. And it's a really good, you need to check out the next video that we'll be doing. And yes, it's going to be on the road tripping. Bye. Thanks for joining us.